It's very hard just to sit quietly. Is he going to start now? Why did I come here? What's he doing? Does he feel embarrassed that he's not talking? Has he not got anything to say? What's wrong with me that I can't sit quietly? Would it be rude to get up to get some water? It's a bit cold in here. It's a bit hot in here. Are we meant to be doing something now? Is he making a point? Should I sit up straight and close my eyes and pretend to meditate because that's what he wants me to do? Or, oh no, would that just be my ego because I want other people to look at me and think that I'm okay with sitting quietly? How long is this going to be? When am I going to eat next? What's he doing? Why did I come here? Why? He's bad, I'm bad, she's bad, they're bad. I hope he's not going to do this again. I got the point. Please don't forget. From the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep, you've got this little voice that accompanies you everywhere, all the time. And it's very often quite an annoying, judgmental little voice. Judging yourself, judging other people, judging the situation, comparing, doubting, fearing, worrying, being jealous, angry, afraid, all the time. Wow, it's an amazing thing. Wow, isn't it an amazing thing? All the time, even now, it's still going. It's still going. Right. What's it saying now? Your whole experience of existence, your whole life is really just what's going on in your mind. That's your whole life. What's happening in your mind. And if you're not in control of what's happening in your mind, then you're not in control of your experience of existence and your experience of life. And all of our emotions are really created by our thoughts. If you have happy thoughts, you feel happy, and if you have sad thoughts, you feel sad. And if you have angry thoughts, you feel angry. So if we can't control our mind, then we can't control our emotions, and your emotions is really, that's really your experience of your life. Your experience of life is really your emotions, which are created by your thoughts. So you've just got this constant cycle of thought, emotion, thought, emotion, thought, emotion. That's what your life is. And it seems that most of us are basically completely controlled by external circumstances. We're completely controlled by external circumstances. How we feel if you miss the bus, then you feel frustrated. If someone likes your Facebook profile photo, you feel great. How many likes do you need to have on your Facebook profile photo to be like, wow, I'm worthy? And how you need a few people to write stunning XOX, and you're like, I'm stunning. I'm stunning.
2 million is enough.
Yeah. Wow. Someone comes up to me after class and says, Dov Ber, that was the best class I've ever heard. I'll be like, yeah, I feel good about myself. Some people comes up to you and says, it was a great class, but Rav Gav's much funnier than you. I'll be jealous. You go to work, someone says you look great, you feel great. Someone says you're horrible, you feel horrible. totally controlled by other people and circumstances. You want to go for a walk, but it's raining, you can't go for a walk, now you're in a bad mood. And it's really got very little to do with the external world, actually. Some days you can get up, miss the bus, and you don't care. Sometimes you get up, miss the bus, and it really upsets you. So do you ever get up some days, and you're in a sort of mood where nothing bothers you? It's just like, yeah, it don't matter, he insulted, I don't care, like, it's all good, I'm good. And you get up another day, and every little thing, tiny little thing. So what changed? Did the external world change? No, same external world. Just your internal world changed, and that's your whole experience of existence. Do you ever lie in bed, you're trying to fall asleep, you can't fall asleep because your mind's just racing? If it's your mind, why don't you turn it off? Who's in control here? Who's in control? Or you send someone a WhatsApp message and you see the two blue check marks, ticks. It's like, they saw that 43 minutes ago and they haven't replied yet. That means he's sleeping with her and she's doing this and that. And you create this whole story. You just created a whole story, not necessarily true. But because this story you created, this interpretation you created, you feel bad. So you feel bad about something that's not even true. You've just created a story and feel that because you're really upset. And most of your interpretations aren't particularly true. So you're really upset about things that aren't even true. Has anyone ever really hurt you or upset you, or your boss said something or someone said something, and you think about what you're going to say to them? You make your speech. And then what do? You make it again. And then again. And you play it through 1,000 times. And that's what you're thinking all day. You're meant to be writing your essay, you can't, because you're just thinking about the speech you've got to say to the person who hurt you. And then often you don't even say it. I'm not going to say it again, but I'm just going to live in my world of I've got to take my speech. So I got to the 20 years old. 20 years old. And I realized that I was totally being controlled by external circumstances that I wasn't in control of. I noticed that especially in the secular world in which I grew up in, most people by the age of 20 are a bit messed up. They're a bit messed up because either you had a relationship, and those 16, 17, 18-year-old relationships are so intense and painful, and glorious and painful. So you either had one of those, or you didn't have one of those, well, all your friends were having one of those, and you wish you had one of those, or you didn't have one of those. So you're broken in some way or other by the time you're 20. Wow. So I realized this. I was like, oh no, I don't want to live my whole rest of my life being controlled by external circumstances that I can't control, and being in my mind and playing over and over and over again the same thing. Don't keep playing the same things over and over again. So I did something a bit drastic, which you don't have to do because God bless you.
Thank you.
Say amen.
Amen.
Bless you. Give me a bracha. Say amen. So I went to live in Asia for 6 years because that's how you deal with these things. You run away. No, I didn't run away. So I went to several 10-day silent meditation retreats. Because I was like, I've just got to sit down with my mind and get to know it and work with it. I just read an article that average American spends 90% of the hours that they're awake looking at a screen. First thing do when you wake up in the morning, check your phone. Last thing you do when you go to bed at night, the average American, not. Last thing, when you go to bed at night, you're checking your phone. You're at work in front of a computer 9 to 5. When you go to the bathroom, you're also checking your phone. When you go to the gym, there are screens in the gym. You come home, there's Skype and Netflix and distractions all the time. WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, SMS.
Aish Classroom?
Aish Classroom. Ping, 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 ping. When was the last time you were just alone? When was the last time you were just alone? No notifications, no book, no ball, just sat somewhere on your own. I'd imagine for most people, if you were the only person in the room and you didn't have any phone or any book and you were just sitting in this room with nothing, after about 3 minutes you'd be like, I don't know what to do. That's why people are distracting themselves the whole time. We're just distracting ourselves. And what people are looking at on their phone is usually not that meaningful. Oh, it's a video of a cute kitten. I love a kitten. I think they're cute too, by the way. There's nothing wrong with it. But you go to heaven and Hashem says to you, 55,000 hours of watching videos of cute kittens and that surfing people and the cool things that they do. And it's like, okay, you're not a bad person, but why did you do that? We're just distracting ourselves because people distract themselves because they can't deal with their mind. So they distract themselves either with entertainment, but even worse, with drugs and parties and work and religion. Just distracting ourselves all the time because we're running away. We can't sit with our own minds. Basically, the highest paid people in society are the entertainers, sports stars, movie stars, music stars, the people who are just, let's turn it off. And if you have a stressful work, or it's something you don't enjoy your degree and you come home and how do you chill out? You sit and watch Netflix. It helps you turn off your mind, but when the program finishes, you haven't grown as a person. You go back to the work the next day. You haven't become any better. If you're taking your downtime to just distract yourself into something meaningless, it does get you away from that for a little bit, but you haven't gone anywhere. So I went to lots of 10-day silent meditation retreats. The bell went off at 4 o'clock in the morning. We woke up and basically spent 16 hours learning to breathe in and out. Anapanasati, consciousness of in and out breathing. And silence for 10 days. My job in the temple was to water the flowers. And after about 4 days, I'd water the flowers and then I'd be like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Because you have to express yourself. It's hard not to express yourself. But just being able to sit and start watching what's going on in your mind and start being able to choose your thoughts. It's very important to start to choose your thoughts. Someone went to the Kotzker Rebbe. He was a famous Hasidic master. And he said, Rebbe, when I try to pray, when I'm davening, all these thoughts come into my mind about other things that I don't want to be thinking about. Please help me. And the Rebbe looked at him and said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. So it's like, no, I've just walked 3 days from my village to get here, you have to help me. The Rebbe says, look, if you're having these thoughts that you don't want in your head, I just can't help you with that. He kept begging him. The Kotzker Rebbe said, look, I can't help you, please leave. So the man was a little bit upset, and he walked 3 days back to his village, and he was very upset. And he comes home, he gets to his house, and he sees that there are these people walking in and out of his house, taking his furniture out and putting it on the road. That didn't make him happy. Nice Jewish guys walking into his house. He saw his bed coming out. He was like, what are you doing? Saw his chairs. He's got, stop! And the guys looked at him and said, why are you so upset? The Kotzker Rebbe told us to do this. So he was a little upset by this. He stormed back to the Kotzker Rebbe. It only took about 2 days this time because he was so angry. He got back. He goes into Kotzker Rebbe's office. In his office, said, Rebbe, what's going on? First you can't help me, and then you send people to take stuff out of my house. It's not very nice. The Kotzker Rebbe said, why are you so upset by that? He said, because it's my house, and if I don't give you permission to be there, you're not allowed to be there. And the Rebbe said, this is your house too. Your mind, your head, that's your house too. If you don't give things permission to be there, they're not allowed to be there. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But you get the idea. I'm going to tell my favorite story. Anyone who's ever met me has heard this story 1,000 times. I wasn't going to tell it, but one of the other rabbis said to me, are you going to tell that amazing story about your daughter and the ice cream? So I have to tell the story. It's the best story ever. My daughter, Tamara Menucha, when she was 3 years old, it was Shabbat, and I was reading her a book, and she said to me, Abba, can I have some ice cream? And I said, of course you can have ice cream. I love you, and I love ice cream, and I love Shabbos. And I get very excited, you might have noticed. So I was like, ice cream! Let's have ice cream! I sat her down, I was excited, and I got up, and I walked over to the fridge, and I was like, I basically sing everything. I do. My wife once said it's like living with Hashem the musical. So I sing everything. We're having ice cream. I walk over to the freezer, open the door, no ice cream. This is a tragic situation. I'm being serious. You might not think it is. So I go, sit down. Her name's Tamara Menucha. She calls herself Nucha. I said, Nucha, we don't have any ice cream. She looked at me and she's like, Abba, no, why? It's not fair. Abba, no, why? You said we could have ice cream. What I just wanted to say to her, Nucha, just shut up. No, I didn't. I did. But because I read a parenting book, I didn't say that. What I said to her was, and by the way, this is very important, and we're going to get into it on the board now. What I said to her is, I said, Nucha, I see you're really upset by this. I acknowledged her feelings. It's very important. Very important to acknowledge people's feelings and your own feelings. I'm going to talk about that very soon. Feelings, you have to acknowledge them. Has anyone here ever felt very upset about something and then thought to themselves, I really shouldn't feel upset? How did that help? Doesn't. Now you're upset that you feel upset, and you're judging yourself for feeling upset, and I shouldn't feel upset. And I shouldn't feel that I shouldn't feel upset. Once you feel a feeling, you're going to feel it. We're going to talk about that. So I acknowledged her feelings. I said, Nucha, I see you're really upset. I'm really upset too. And I thought that would make her be quiet, but it didn't. She carried on whining, why? Abba, no. So I said, Nucha, now that I'd acknowledged her feelings, I said, Nucha, do you think that whining is going to make more ice cream? You're whining, is this going to help? Is whining going to help the situation? And she looked at me, she was a little confused. So I said to her, it must be horrible being my daughter. I said to her, Nucha, I'm going to go and get a bowl from the cupboard, and we're going to whine together, and we're going to see if we can make more ice cream. So I got a bowl from the cupboard, I put it on the table between us, said, come on, let's whine. No! Why? It's not fair! And because I have Kabbalistic powers, I made more ice cream. I didn't. You're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. So we had no ice cream, but she started laughing. So I've got her from whining to confused to laughing. It's a good progression. So I've basically won already. I said to her, Nucha, I've got a lesson for you. And she knows about lessons. About a month earlier, she'd come home from Gan, from kindergarten, and she was very upset. And I said, why are you so upset? She said, because I made a mistake. I said, what mistake did you make? And she brought out, she'd had a drawing and she'd coloured outside the lines. She was really upset. She said, Abba, I made a mistake, I coloured outside the lines. So I said to her, Nucha, you know, it's okay to make a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. And you could see her whole body was like, oh, wow. It's okay to make mistakes. Who here has made a mistake in the last 10 minutes? In the last month? Who's made a mistake in the last 2 months? When you made a mistake, who had these thoughts? What's wrong with me? What an idiot. Why did I do that? How could I do that? What do they think of me? What do I think of myself? Who had those thoughts? Yeah, how did they help? They don't help. My 3-year-old daughter knows that it's okay to make mistakes. You don't know that yet. You beat yourself up when you make a mistake. Stop beating yourself up. Never, ever, 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 ever. You're not allowed to beat yourself up. It's not kosher. Beating yourself up is not kosher. You have to have some degree of remorse and pain. If you had nothing, if you make a mistake and you're like, it doesn't matter, that's also not healthy. You're not going to grow. You're not going to be a good person. You've got to get the balance. So if you make a mistake, feel the pain, feel the remorse, apologize if you have to, and move on. The balance. It's okay to make mistakes. So I said, Nicha, I've got a lesson for you. Okay. I said, we've got a situation. We both want ice cream, and we don't have ice cream, and whining's not going to make more ice cream. So here we are. That's our situation. We don't have ice cream. Now we can choose how we relate to this. We can choose. We can choose. I'm going to say the word choose a lot of times. We can choose to be upset about this for the rest of Shabbos, or we can choose to be okay with it. It's our choice. Isn't it an amazing thing? It's your choice. I said to her, if you want to choose to be sad, you have to have these thoughts. It's not fair that I don't have ice cream. Shabbat is terrible without ice cream. I'll never have ice cream. I bet all my friends are having ice cream. So if you have those thoughts, it's going to produce sadness, anger, whatever. And you're welcome to choose to have those thoughts. And then choose to feel sad. You're welcome to do that and whine, but you just got to do it in your bedroom. And then I said to her, if you want to choose to be happy, you have to have these thoughts. Okay, so it's not so bad we don't have ice cream, I'll have cake instead. We'll have ice cream tomorrow, and I'll appreciate it much more because I waited for it. I'm happy for my friends that they're having ice cream. It's a hard one. It's a hard one. But if we choose to have these thoughts instead, we're going to be happy. What do you want to do? What choice should we make? So she looked at me, 3 years old. She looked at me and said, okay, Abba, let's choose to be happy. Let's choose to be happy. So by the way, this is easier said than done because not everything in life is as simple as ice cream. We go through much more horrible abuse and trauma and difficult things in our life. So I'm not saying just choose the right thoughts. I'm not belittling serious things. However, through therapy, energy healing, medication, whatever you need, the healing is only going to come once you've changed your perspective on the pain. Once you've changed the perspective on the pain. Now, what's the difference between pain and suffering? What's the difference between pain and suffering? I'm going to give you a definition. Rav Noach always said, let's define things. So this is pain. Yeah, I've done it in red. Pain is a feeling. Pain is a feeling. It's a physical feeling. You bang your knee, or it's an emotional feeling. You split up with your boyfriend, someone dies. It's a feeling. And you can actually, it's called a feeling because it has physical, you can feel it physically. Or I feel lonely, or I feel sad. Whatever it is, feeling. Suffering is your mind not dealing with the feeling in a positive way. It's not relating to the pain in a positive way. So it's saying, it's not fair. I can't write it aloud. It's not fair. Why me? I wish I wasn't lonely. Other people aren't lonely. If I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't be lonely. I hate being lonely. I hate myself for being lonely. I shouldn't be lonely. The thinking around the pain is called, that's suffering. The pain itself, just feeling really lonely, isn't actually that bad. It's not nice at all, and it's painful, and you should cry, and it's horrible. But if you can just be very, very present with the pain and feel, I feel lonely, I feel really lonely now, and that's okay. This is what I do. I always say, and that's okay, and really mean it. And that's okay. I feel really lonely, and that's okay. What happens is the feeling gets felt, it gets acknowledged, and then it starts going. What keeps the pain going is the thinking. If you think about your pain, you're just going to build your pain. Why did he do that to me? I can't believe he did that to me. It's not fair that he did that to me. Bless you and your whole family. Why did he do this to me? What you're doing is you're actually not being present and feeling the pain. You're actually escaping the pain. So if you're judging the pain or comparing the pain or wanting to escape the pain and you're not being present with the pain just remains. And this is really difficult. It's really, to sit with your pain without thinking about it is really painful. But it's what you have to do once it has arisen, once pain has arisen. That's the difference between pain and suffering. So pain you're not going to avoid in your life. We're going to have painful things in our life. Suffering you can start to avoid. Suffering, I'm defining suffering as the negative mind patterns around it. And when I call them negative, I mean that they're not serving any useful purpose. They're not serving any useful purpose. They're not changing the situation. They're not making you feel better. They're not doing anything. They're just keeping you feeling in pain. So this is, I'm going to now draw your whole life on the board. I'm very excited. I'm not a very good artist. It's actually not terrible. Okay. You can have our cap. There you go. There we go. Not terrible. So this is a kangaroo. No. So I'm going to now show you your whole life in front of your eyes. There's something called a stimulus. It's in the outside world. Missed bus. Miss bus. Someone insults me. Insults me. Bang my knee. Bang my knee. I just do that a lot, so I'm putting it down there. Someone cuts you up in a car. Cuts you up. Is that how you say it in America?
Cuts you off.
What? Cuts you off. Cuts you off. Cuts you off. In English we say cuts you up. I know what that would mean in America, so we're not that crazy in England. So this is what happens in your life. Something happens and then you perceive that thing happening. By the way, the stimulus can be internal as well. You have a thought, I'm not good enough. But let's just do it like this for now. Something happens, you perceive it, and that creates thoughts. How dare they? I'm bad, they're bad, we're bad, now I'm going to be late, thoughts come. What thoughts then create is emotions. Going to do emotions in red, in your heart. How about that? There you go. Okay, this is your whole existence, ladies and gentlemen. Stimulus, thought, emotion. I'm going to write thought here. No, I'm not. Stimulus, thought, emotion. Yes, I am. Not that you're going to be able to read it, but that's good. Stimulus, thought, emotion. Stimulus, thought, emotion. Welcome to your whole existence. You come to the class, you sit down, Dov Ber isn't talking at all. That's your stimulus. Your thoughts are, what's he doing? Am I meant to be meditating? Why is he going there? Why I shouldn't be here? And whatever your thoughts are going to create an emotion. If you sat down and said, oh wow, this is great, he's not talking, then you're going to feel good. If you sat down and said, hold on, why is he not saying anything? Then you're going to feel confused, angry, frustrated, worried. Stimulus, thought, emotion, stimulus, thought, emotion. Welcome to your whole existence always. That's your whole experience of life, all the time. So your whole real experience of life is just this. Stimulus, thought, emotion. So there are 3 levels now to dealing with this, and the levels are in green. Level number 1. We've just spoken about it a bit. Once the stimulus happens, creates the thoughts, and you hit the emotion, once you feel the emotion, what do you have to do? You've got to feel it. So level 1 is, once it's already arisen, it has to be felt. You have to acknowledge that emotion is there. I've got a few examples. I once left my phone on the train on the way to New Brunswick from New York. We're going from New York to New Brunswick, and I put my phone down next to me, and I got off the train, and just as I was about to get off the train, I was like, and the doors were closing, I was like, I'm sure I left my phone there. But I wasn't 100% sure. Have you noticed in English, we only say we're sure when we're not sure? I'm sure I saw him yesterday. That means you're not sure. If you really were sure, you'd just say, I saw him yesterday. I'm sure I saw him yesterday. Crazy. Anyway, so I thought, no, I probably got it in my pocket. I got off the train, checked my pockets. I was like, yeah, you idiot. I left it on the train. So I started having these thoughts, what an idiot. Who leaves their phone on the... don't put it there in the first place. Just keep it in your pocket so you've got no risk. Or at least if you're going to put it there, check the seat before you leave the train. Everyone knows that. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with God? Why would God do that to me? And I started having these thoughts, and then I stopped and I said, hold on, I do like personal mastery stuff. I've been like in Asia for 6 years. What are you doing? Just, it's okay. It's for the best. I know God did it for the best, and I can get a new phone and chill out. And I was like, but I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling it yet. I still felt really annoyed and upset and frustrated and angry. Well, I was feeling my feelings. So the thought, this is all for the best and it's okay and I'll sort it out, that's true. It's a true thought, but you can't have it too early. You can't have it too early, because if you haven't felt your feelings, even that thought is running away. So what I did is I sat down on a bench on the platform and I had those thoughts a bit, and I just felt really frustrated and angry and upset for about 3 to 4 hours. For about 3 to 4 minutes, I felt how upset I felt. I really felt it. And then I let it go. Once the feeling had been felt, I said, okay, I'm not so upset anymore. And then I had the thoughts, it's okay, I'll work on it. So once a feeling has arisen, you have to feel your feelings. Great. Level 1. Level 2 is, can we deal with our thoughts? Can we stop things at the thought level? So, let's say I'm standing at the central bus station in Jerusalem, and I want to get a bus to Sfat, which I do. I love Sfat. And a bus comes along, and it says Elat on the front of the bus. Will I get on the bus? Why not? It's going to the wrong place. Someone who gets on a bus that's going onto the wrong place, they're called insane. Don't get on a bus that's going to the wrong place. There are some thoughts, this is why they're called a train of thought. You're getting on the wrong train. Chain of thought? Train. There are some thoughts that you know are taking you to the wrong place. They're taking you to the wrong place. Our problem is we're usually on the bus halfway down the road to Eilat before we realize we got on the bus, because we're just so used to getting on that bus. You didn't even read the title, Eilat. You just got on the bus. The bus came, you got on the bus. So the first step of controlling your thoughts is to start being very mindful of what thoughts are even there. Most people, if you say, what are you thinking about? They have to stop and think for a bit to tell you what they're thinking about. Because most of your thoughts, you're not even really aware of what you're thinking, so you're often going to a bad place. Start being aware of what thoughts, just like you're aware of what it says on front of the bus, it says Eilat. Start becoming aware of those thoughts that often come that are taking you to a not healthy place. Regret thoughts, pain thoughts, why me, if only. If only is the worst one, by the way. If only. That doesn't help. Usually, by the way, negative thoughts aren't even true. They're not even true, especially negative thoughts about yourself. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable. That's not true. Everyone's good enough and worthy and lovable. It's not true. However, a negative thought that is true usually isn't serving a purpose unless it's motivating you to work harder or something. But still, even if it is true, it's not serving it, it's not helping you, it's not making you. If I have a jealous thought, you've got 3 things to do with a jealous thought. Number 1, jealous thought comes, go with it. Go with it, just go. I'm getting into jealous thought. I watch other rabbis speaking to groups, and I'm sitting at the back of the room, I'm like, I'm so much funnier than him. I'm much better speaker than him. As soon as I notice these jealous thoughts, what I could do is go with them, say, yeah, I wish I was speaker, but is that helping me? No, that's building jealousy. The second thing I can do is beat myself up. Beat myself up about it. Oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I having jealous thoughts again? I'm meant to be better than this. I can't. Why am I? Is that helping? No. Putting yourself down never helps you grow. It's an amazing thing. Putting yourself down never helps you go. When it says Ibdu et Hashem besimcha, you should serve Hashem besimcha, it means the avoda, the work, can only be done besimcha. You're not going to overcome your negative character traits if you're not okay. When I say okay with them, I don't mean that you're okay with keeping them. But you say, okay, I have this. A girl came up to me a while ago and said, Rabbi, I hate myself. I said, why do you hate yourself? She said, because I get upset with my mum and I'm not a good friend. I said, okay, but those are your negative character traits that you need to work on. Why do you hate yourself? It's not who you are. You won't hate your children if they have negative character traits. Don't hate yourself if you have negative character traits. Just work on your negative character traits. This works on the outside as well, by the way. If someone insults you, how should that make you feel? Well, if it's not, what I do is I start analyzing it. I'm saying, right, is what they said true? Dov Ber, your class wasn't very good. Is that true? If I really think about it and I say, I think it actually was pretty good, then it doesn't upset me that they said it wasn't. And if it is true, then I'll say, okay, so I'll work on that. Why should anyone being mean to you ever make you feel bad? Don't give other people the power to make you feel a certain way. Let's say someone's being mean to you. By the way, it's very important to know that happy people are never mean. Happy people never say bad things. Think of the happiest person you know. Would they put you down and say negative, critical things? They wouldn't. So if anyone is being negative and critical towards you, it means they aren't happy. So rather than letting that upset you, you should have pity on them. If someone insults you, just look at them and say, wow, I see you're so unhappy. And that will really annoy them and you'll win. No. So they're unhappy. I'm not going to let your negativity affect me. I've got my own sense of self. By the way, it's a whole different class, but most people get their self-esteem based on what other people think about them. Recognition, being accepted by the outside world, then I feel good about myself. That's very unstable for two reasons. Firstly, it depends on other people, and that can change. And secondly, it's usually based on very superficial values, like what your body looks like and what car you're driving, and if you're saying the best Devar Torah. I always like to throw that one in there because everyone's like, no, we're beyond that. But still, there are people like, I want to say the best Hasidic word. And I still get my sense of self based on how many people say how good my class is. It's very sad. Real self-esteem comes from an internal recognition of what's good about you. My good character traits, my achievements, the things I'm proud of myself for. Go to bed feeling proud of yourself for doing the right thing. There's no greater feeling than that. I feel proud of the way I thought, spoke, and acted today. I feel proud of myself. It's got nothing to do with the external world. So if someone insults me, that doesn't have to immediately be, oh, how dare they, I don't like this, I don't like that. The thought can be, okay, the thought for when someone insults you is this true? If it's not, I'm not upset. If it is, okay, so I'll work on it. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. So you go with it, you beat yourself up, or the third one is, you acknowledge it. Okay, so I had a jealous thought. Okay, chill out. Okay, I had a jealous thought. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I noticed a jealous thought. Rabbi Noach used to actually say that you're never blamed for your first thought. You're not held accountable for your first thought. The first thought that comes into your mind isn't you. That's the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara throws the thought of a woman into your mind or a man into your mind. Throws the jealous thought, the negative thought, the ego thought. That's the Yetzer Hara testing you. Our sages tell us that the Yetzer Hara is actually our best friend. In Bereshit, in the creation of the world, it says Hashem saw that it was good. Hashem saw that it was good. Hashem saw it was good. On the sixth day, He created man. Hashem saw it was Tov Me'od. Very good. What does the Me'od mean? The Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is your best friend. Why is that? Why is the Yetzer? You hate your Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara is your best friend.
Makes you work for him.
Says in Pirkei Avot, Ezehu Gibor, who is a master, HaKoveshet Yitzro, the person who beats a Yetzer Hara. So you're never going to be a master if you don't have a Yetzer Hara. Your Yetzer Hara is the thing, it's your training partner. Your Yetzer Hara is the thing that's turning you into master. If you can beat it. Or it's turning you into something else if you can't. But the point of it is to turn you into a master. It's on your team, it's helping you train. So that's what your Yetzer Hara is doing. Pushing you so that you grow. And all of your growth in life comes through challenge. We spoke about this yesterday. Growth comes through pain and challenge and overcoming difficulties. So that's what Yetzer Hara is. So I acknowledge, okay, that first thought is not me, it's my Yetzer Hara first thought. What you are blamed for or responsible for is what you do with that thought. So if you carry on thinking about the woman or carry on thinking the jealous thoughts, that's more in your area of free will, hopefully. But only if you're conscious of it. That's why I think what everyone should do is write a list of 10 or so thoughts that often come to their mind that they know are taking them to the wrong place. Write them down. Don't share them. Write them down. I'm not good enough. By the way, is I don't go to the gym enough a negative thought?
Yeah.
No, it's a fact. I don't go to the gym enough, therefore I'm a bad person. I'll never get married. Those are the negative thoughts. I don't go to the gym enough could be a fine thought if you say, so therefore I'll go to the gym more. So statements of fact aren't negative thoughts. It's how you judge yourself for those statements of fact. So negative thoughts are, why me? It's not fair. Even if it is not fair, by the way, even if it is not fair, having the thought it's not fair is not helping you. So just start. When that thought comes, that's the bus to Eilat. So once you've written your list of 10 things, when a thought comes, one of the 10, you can say, number 7. Acknowledge, number 7. I don't get on number 7 buses anymore. Sometimes it will sneak in and you'll be halfway down the road to Eilat before you realize you're on the bus. But once you've written them down, you're basically writing the title of where you're going on the front of the bus, and you become more aware. I used to have a thought, I can't be bothered. How do you say that in America? You say that too? I'm not motivated. I can't be bothered. I've trained myself to every single time I have my Yetzer Hara throws a thought, I can't be bothered into my head, I get up and do it. I'll do that. That will inspire me to do it. So now the Yetzer Hara doesn't throw I can't be bothered into my head anymore because he knows I'm going to use it for something good.
So do you have for every...
I've got a block. Yes, I've got a block. It's a martial art. I know that if the thought, for example, this isn't necessarily Yetzer Hara, but I really should call my mum. Whenever I have I really should thought, that makes me do it. I really should, then do it. I really should be getting up earlier. Well, then do. I really should equals do it. So I've got a whole list of blocks. It's a martial art. I know if that thought comes, if a jealous thought comes to my head, what I'm going to do is because I'm so aware of these thoughts, I've written them down. Jealous thought comes to my head, my block is, I'll pray for that person. I say, I hope they do really well. Or I'll work on gratitude. I've now flipped it so that when a jealous thought comes, I work on gratitude. Because if I had more gratitude, I wouldn't be jealous. So now the Yetzer Hara knows if he throws jealousy at me, I'm going to turn it into gratitude so he stops throwing jealousy at me. He throws other much better, deeper, subtle things at me now. But I'm not going to let him get through to me like that. So he changes his thing. Go with it, beat yourself up. So once you've acknowledged it, this is actually a tool our masters teach us, Kabbalistic masters teach us, and it's very difficult, but you have to do it. The next step is you have to smile at it, even though you don't feel like smiling at it. The Yetzer Hara is a bully. The Yetzer Hara's main goal and tool and purpose is to make you feel sad and bad. That's what it wants. It wants you to feel sad and bad. Once you feel sad and bad, then it can get you, and then you don't want to do mitzvahs. And so it wants to keep you down, feeling sad and bad. It's bullying you. What do you do to a bully? Stand up and smile and say, "No, I'm not letting you make me feel bad anymore." And you're going to have to fake this smile a lot until you really feel it. You're not going to feel it, but once you become aware of the thought, you've acknowledged it. I acknowledge. There's number 7 thought. Then you stop. You smile. By the way, what you should really be smiling at is the fact that you were mindful enough to notice that it was there. That you're in the game. Now you're in the game. And now you're saying, I'm not letting, this is my house. This is my house. I'm not letting that come in my house. And smile. Say, now sometimes it will get in there and you'll feel bad. Fine, get up. Shevi yipol tzadik v'kam. You'll fall and then you get up. This is practice like anything else. It's like playing the piano, playing sport. It's practice. You practice. So the thought comes, smile at it. And as soon as you smile at it, you take away its power. It's taken away its power now. It said, I'm starting to fight. I don't have those thoughts anymore. I don't get on those buses. I'm not giving you permission to be here anymore. Very powerful thing. Taking away its power. Take away the Yetzer Hara's power. Smile at it. Next step, replace it with something positive. I'm not good enough. I'm amazing. I'm not worthy. I'm very worthy. I'm lazy. I'm full of energy. Even if you don't mean it and you aren't really that now, start rewiring the network. And start saying that to yourself. I always say this, if you had a friend who spoke to you how you often speak to yourself, how long would you let them be your friend? Not very long. You'd punch them after a few seconds. So why don't you start speaking to yourselves like you speak to people you love? Imagine that. Here's your homework, kids. Spend the rest at least until Shabbos and into Shabbos, and then really for the rest of your life, speaking to yourself how you'd speak to someone you really love. What would you think of a person who spoke to your children how you often speak to yourself? It's not okay to speak to yourself like that. I want you to speak to someone like you speak to someone you love. Why should you love yourself? Because you should. You don't need a reason. You should have self-esteem and love the fact that you have good character traits and you've had achievement. That's fine. But just to love yourself, just love yourself. Everyone deserves love. So that's level one. Once it's flipped through your thoughts and you're feeling the emotion, nothing you can do. You just have to feel the emotion. Number two, have the right thoughts. Be aware of what thoughts are coming into your mind. And just acknowledge them, smile at them and say, I'm not having them anymore. And go get off the bus and go back to Sfat. So get off the bus, go to Sfat. But there's a highest level, the higher level. And this is true, this is personal mastery. This is personal mastery. And if you have this one thing, you will achieve the whole purpose of existence. And you'll never feel suffering ever again. And you'll feel really happy. There's one part of this picture that I left out until this moment. It's over here. It's called your perspective. Your perspective. Your beliefs about yourself and about the situation. Because really what happens is, this comes, but what thoughts it creates is based on your perspective. So if you have low self-esteem and someone cuts you off or pushes in front of you in the line in the bank and you have low self-esteem, what will that make? That will come through low self-esteem glasses. It will create thoughts like, oh no, I let someone take advantage of me again, I'm not good. That will create sadness and then you'll go home and cry. If you have arrogance, you believe you're the best thing in the world, then someone will cut you off or push in front of you. They will come through your arrogant glasses and you'll think, how dare they? Do they know who I am? What's wrong with them? That will create anger and you'll punch them. Dun, 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 dun. So really what's creating your whole experience of everything is your perspective. If you haven't had enough to eat and you're tired, then you got tired, haven't eaten enough. It's called hangry. Hangry. You're hungry, makes you angry. Hangry. So I'm very hangry. Then you're going to feel bad. Let's say someone cuts you off and you just split up with your girlfriend. How are you going to feel? You're going to cry. Let's say someone cuts you off but you just won the lottery. How are you going to feel? You don't care. Same thing happens, but depending on what glasses you have on at that particular moment, that's going to create your whole existence. So there's a pair of glasses that our sages teach us that you have to develop. And once you have these glasses on, you are now a master, and you will never feel any suffering, negative character traits, negative thoughts. You'll always be happy, you'll be a tzaddik, you'll be perfect, and you'll live the whole purpose of life. Who knows what those glasses are? Emunah. 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 By the way, emunah is always the answer to the question I ask at the end of my class. Emunah is always the answer to the question I ask at the end of my class. Emunah is the key to everything. If you have emunah, you will never feel fear, anger, jealousy, hatred. You'll still feel sadness. What emunah means is, I know for a fact that everything happens for a reason, a good reason. I know for a fact that there is a divine being who is putting this in my life right now. That person who's insulting me. I banged my knee, I missed the bus. That is Hashem, that is God. saying this is the best possible thing that can happen in your life right now, for you to become a master. Emunah, 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 emunah. I know that this is for God. How do you stop pain becoming suffering, the feeling becoming its victim? Level number 1 for stopping pain becoming suffering is find the meaning in the pain. Childbirth is very, very painful, apparently. My wife was screaming. I think it's painful. Is it suffering? No, because there's meaning. Going to the gym is painful. Is it suffering? No, because there's some meaning. So if you can always look for the meaning in your pain, then it won't become suffering. And finding the meaning in your pain, usually the meaning is some form of personal growth. Some form of personal growth. What if you can't find the meaning in your pain? Young children dying of cancer, God forbid. I just can't find the meaning in your pain. Then what? Emunah is always the answer to my question at the end of the class. Emunah means I know that there is a good meaning, I just don't know what it is and I never will. Emunah means I can't find the meaning, I don't know what it is, but I know for a fact there is a meaning. Emunah, I know is for the best. So once you can develop emunah and see God in everything all the time, that's how you become a master of your thought. Ezehu gibor, who is a master? Hakovesh yitzro means to develop emunah. Because once you have emunah, your Yetzer Hara is completely conquered. Your Yetzer Hara can't deal with emunah. So in my next class, I'll be teaching how to develop emunah. Because that's the whole purpose of creation. Developing emunah. What's the time? It's emunah time. Are there any questions? Okay. So I think let's start trying to do this. It's not easy and you'll fall and you'll get back, but now we have a method. We have a method for conquering our minds. And then, yeah.
Do you have any tapes or books?
There's something called SoundCloud. If you go to www